Caution is out.
All right, Late Model Sportsman's wrapping up their warm-up session. They'll be back out for a couple of heat races coming up here shortly.
Drivers, green flag is out.
All right, great late models wrapping up their warm-up session. Late Model Sportsman, heat race number 1 to the staging area. Late Model Sportsman drivers, heat race number 1 to the staging area, please.
Stay high on the front stretch. There's debris right in the middle.
Set to go. Once again, fans, we like to remind you, if you are looking to increase your racing weekend, who doesn't? Nobody wants to go back to work on a Monday. Bedford Speedway running tonight, and if you are here at Hagerstown and take that admission ticket to the Bedford Speedway, that gives you $4 off a Speedway spectator ticket later on this evening. So again, our thanks out to the Padulas working with us here at Hagerstown Speedway. Both tracks, with the conditions of rain on Friday and Saturday, both elected to use Sunday to their benefit. And of course, we hope the weather is just as nice later on this evening at Bedford as we are having right now. A little windy out there and chilly, but you are at a racetrack, and that's what's important. We have the opportunity to catch some good racing action here this afternoon. The Late Model Sportsman drivers that will be running to Bedford tonight, if they're here, they have a free pit pass available to them for doing the double dip. Well, as our Late Model Sportsman drivers are getting set to be lined up on the staging area for the first 8-lap qualifier, ladies and gentlemen in the stands, if you could rise as you are able, as we will deliver today's invocation to be followed by our national anthem. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the blessings of this day. When it comes to the month of April, we know April showers typically bring May flowers, but if you're a racing fan, April showers always hurt us on the weekend. And we're so very grateful that even though we may have lost our original Saturday date, you have given us the opportunity to make our way here as friends and family to enjoy some racing on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Today, we ask that you keep our officials and all of our drivers safe. Help them to provide the best entertainment they can while keeping everybody safe on and off the track. We thank you for our fans here today, and we certainly wish them all a very speedy drive home and all very safe drive home as well, so we can enjoy each other as friends and family members next weekend here at the Speedway once again. We thank you for all the military who are serving throughout our country and throughout the world that are protecting us each and every day, that give us the opportunity to do what we're doing right now, and that's enjoy the sport of auto racing. Keep us all safe, and again, we thank you so very much. In your precious name we pray. Amen. Once again, 8 laps of distance. All drivers will qualify. 20 Late Model Sportsman drivers on hand. Very good field, good mix of cars as we get set to do battle. Harry Shipe electing to start further back. That moves the 151 of Lear up to the pole position. Ciccarelli to his outside, Pilkington and Booz. They'll make up row number 2. 8 laps of distance. Here we go, qualifying this afternoon for Late Model Sportsman. Kyle Lear grabs that lead, and if you were here 2 weeks ago in the feature event, Brian Booz started well back in the order. He was going to need some cautions to get him closer to the front of the field, and indeed that's what he got, but it just wasn't enough. He wound up second that afternoon as Lear will put lap number 1 on the board as a leader. Booz will be second. Pilkington in the 8 wins a 3-wide battle off of turn 4, and he'll put the 8 machine up into third. 3 wide still, Zekman trying to find something on the high groove. He'll power up into 4th, Breeden in the 14 on the bottom side of Ciccarelli, and that will put him up in the top 5 with 2 laps complete. Late Model Sportsman, heat race number 2 to the staging area. Late Model Sportsman, heat race number 2 to the staging area, please. Top 3 secure. Zekman bobbles a little in the high groove. Off 2. That opens the door for Breeden in the 14, but Zekman hits the button a little bit harder, but that will drift him up into 3 and 4 and keep the door open right now for Breeden. That is the battle right now for the number 4 position. Going to be Lear by a half turn over Brian Booz. Same interval back to the 8 of Jeremy Pilkington. Then Zekman and Breeden. They are the top 5. Archer in the 36 now makes the move up into 6th. Ciccarelli back in 7th. Going to be Barry in 8th. Pronis in 9th. And Shipe rounding out the top 10 here at halfway. Lear, one of those drivers, as we mentioned, going to be doing double duty today, trying to head up to the Bedford Speedway tonight, along with the 49 of Ciccarelli and a few others. Right now, trying to get this afternoon off to a good start. So far, so good. Top 3, very secure in their spots. The ongoing battles for 4th. Zekman with a car length over Breeden. And the 36 of Sam Archer right now in the top 6. Two to go, the indication this time by for the 151 of Kyle Lear. Have been batting 1,000 this year in featured action. And he's been one of the top timers. Trouble up in turn number 3 and 4. Looks like Pronis and also the 00 of Harry Shipe made contact. A little bit of damage on that right side of the Shipe machine. Caution out on the speedway for the first time. All right, 8 cars for a dash to the finish. Green, white, checkered coming up here in a few moments. Lear and Booz from the front row. Dan Zekman trying to use that patented outside line to his advantage. It's worked in some areas, other times it kind of bit him. Right now, he draws even with Brian Booz down the back straightaway. Cody Breeden likewise pulls to the inside of Jeremy Pilkington. All the while, it's Kyle Lear by his lonesome. White flag in the air. Booz retains second. Zekman third. And it is a drag race side by side between Breeden and Pilkington right now as they work off a turn number 2 and may make it a 3-wide battle. Pilkington gets a good bite off that turn, draws away from Breeden, pulls to the inside of Zekman. They have a good dogfight for the 3rd spot. Meanwhile, Kyle Lear back to the stripe. He'll take the checkered. Booz will be second. Good comeback for Pilkington for 3rd. Zekman 4th. And it'll be Cody Breeden making up the top 5. Eight laps of distance, all drivers to qualify. Again, a redraw will be coming up as we get the 2 sets of Late Model Sportsman and Crate Late Model heat races taken care of. Andrew Yoder and Lee Ziegler set to lead us to the green. And Ziegler spinning those tires, having some issues, and he'll drop several spots initially. And Andy Anderson pops up to the outside, grabs the lead from Yoder. Again, Anderson looking to get that mechanical bug out of his bonnet. Right now, the first 2 weeks have not been kind, and this is probably the most he's run. As the 25 of Anderson has just been bit no sooner than a green comes out or he takes to the track, but right now, lap number 1 belongs to the Bunker Hill, West Virginia driver. Yoder in second, going to be Zook up into third. Garrett holding on to fourth, the 87 of Walker Arthur, the early top 5. Behind them, the 21 Chad Myers moves up into sixth. As Ziegler's still trying to find control of that machine, he's up in the high groove. Leaders coming back for lap number 2. It'll be Anderson by 2 car lengths over Yoder, another 3 back to Zook. Those 3 trying to power away. Arthur in the 87, starting further back in the field, back in 6th position. Right now, he's trying to challenge Garrett for 4th as the leaders come back for lap number 3. Going to be Garrett running the low groove. He may get swallowed up. Here comes Arthur and the 21 of Chad Myers running well, starting in 5th, and powers his way around Garrett up 1 spot in the order into 4th. Arthur likewise now going to look to the outside of Garrett, see if he can crack the top 5 as we get set for halfway in our second Late Model Sportsman qualifier. Top 3, still Anderson, Yoder, and Zook. Five car lengths at least for Andy Anderson right now. Another 3 for Andrew Yoder, back to Ryan Zook. Good run for the 21 of Chad Myers, the Hampstead, Maryland driver, breaking away from the drivers behind him. The 87 of Walker Arthur likewise has moved himself up into 5th. Garrett under attack by Bonebrake, who looks to the outside to get up into the number 6 spot. Two to go this time off turn number 4. And things are tightening up just a little bit up in the lead. Anderson's lead still about 4 car lengths. Looks like Zook has closed up on Yoder just a little bit. With Myers and Arthur, and now Bonebrake, top 6, everybody single file. White flag in the air for Andy Anderson. Final lap, Anderson in control. Zook taking a peek, not close enough to make a move on Yoder as of yet. As the laps are winding down, Myers and Arthur, top 5, leaders off of 4. The final time checkered in the air, and Andy Anderson puts the 25 in the number 1 spot. Andrew Yoder, Ryan Zook, Chad Myers, and Walker Arthur will be your top 5. Nine of the 10, or I should say 9 drivers all out there as they get set to do battle. With Braden Anderson looking to see what he can do what Andy did moments ago. He's got a very tough Mason boost to his outside. 6 laps will be the distance here in our great late model qualifiers. And it will be Braden Anderson grabbing that early lead. Really jumbled up from 3rd on back. Mason Booz will get 2nd. David Kaiser, the Winchester winner the night before, coming home in 3rd right now. It's going to be Sweeney in 4th, then Williams the top 5 as they make their way back for lap number 1. Kaiser quickly trying to dispose of competition. Or make that Ed Pope in the 11. Sorry about that. Kaiser will be in heat race number 2. Pope also doing well as he heads up into 3rd spot. Going to be Sweeney in 4th, the 34. Williams running 5th. Challenging on the inside is Sweeney. Swings it wide. Anderson takes him back to the stripe. And it's going to be Williams grabbing that spot. Sweeney back into the number 5 position. 6th on the track right now. Going to be the 6 of Christopher Hutton. He and Sweeney now side by side, as the leaders will take halfway this time by. Great Late Models Heat Race number 2. You should be at the staging area. Pope with a good bite down low off turn number 2. Not quite able to get alongside, but came close to that rear quarter panel of Mason Booz. He begins to chew away down to the bottom side as Anderson brings him back to the stripe. Got a very, very, very tight second, third, and fourth with Booze, Pope, and Williams right there. Much as Pope is digging, so is Williams. And behind them going to be Sweeney and Hutton as the leaders head down the backstretch. And Anderson opening up almost a good half straightaway lead. White flag will be in the air this time. So with Anderson in control, Booze holds on to a car length advantage. Williams made a chance, Abnett, and now falls about 5 car lengths back and forth. Sweeney Jr. is 5th, but it's another 25 at Bunker Hill, West Virginia. Braden Anderson coming away with the great late model heat race win. Mason Booze will be 2nd. Ed Pope in 3rd, followed by Cody Williams and the 40S of Scott Sweeney Jr. Right before the pure stock time trials, we'll go trackside for the either the pill draw or the rolling of the dice on the front straightaway to see what we do with our late model sportsman starting lineup. That's coming up right after this great late model heat race. I understand now they do not have the option. They can't draw the pill. Everybody's got to see what that number on that dice is going to be on the front straightaway, and we're going to find out very shortly. Meanwhile, 6 laps in the books coming for great late models. 33 of Wick. He'll grab the lead. Collins, kind of an unusual move through 1 and 2. Holding on into the 2nd spot. Upperman in 3rd. Kaiser in 4th. And right beside him, side by side, going to be the 3 of Woodward, as he looks down to the inside, challenging the 28 or 26 of Jack Brown. Single file, everybody back for lap number 1. Collins now digging down bottom, going to be Witt to 33. He holds the lead by a car length. Kaiser to the inside of Upperman. That's the challenge for 3rd. And he'll make that happen rather easily down in turn number 3 and 4. Look at that guardrail as Upperman swings it wide. It'll be Witt and Collins, the top 2. Kaiser now 3rd, Upperman. He is going to have more problems. Another driver coming right behind him. That's going to be Brown to that 26 machine. Lexington, Virginia native. A little contact between those two down the back straightaway. Brown's going to get the spot. Upperman now back to 5th as we put halfway on the board. So everybody single file. Chuck Bowie, the only driver that saw an opportunity, and he dives underneath the 3 of Branson Woodward. And that will put him up 1 more spot in the order up into the 6th position. Meanwhile, up front, Trevor Collins keeping the pressure on the 33 of Witt with 2 laps to go. Pure stock driver is making their way to the station area to get set for their time trials. Again, we'll roll the dice in a few moments down trackside to see how our late model sportsman drivers will line up today. Bowie, the only driver that's still making some spots happen. Meanwhile, Collins to the outside. Great move. Enough room was left there. And he powers by. Witt a little out of shape, entering turn number 1, and that's all Collins needed. The 72 out of Seaford, Delaware now begins to check out about 3 car lengths down the backstretch as he'll be coming to the checkered flag this time. But Trevor Collins with a patented boot off turn 4 grabs the 2nd great late model heat race victory. Witt will be 2nd, Kaiser in 3rd, Brown and Upperman. They will be your top 5. Alrighty, down trackside with Kyle Lear, the gentleman. He's 2 for 2 right now. Today we play beats, and it looks like things just haven't changed. Still looking very good out here.
Yeah, and you know, the racetrack's phenomenal with all the rain we've had all week long, and you know, it's a little bit different than it's been the first 2 weeks, and you know, hopefully Lady Luck's still on my side here.
Now, you one that's going to sneak up to Bedford later on this afternoon?
Yeah, we're planning on doing the double. The whole team's going to do it, so hopefully after we're done here, we can cut mustard and head north and you know, support them guys. I really appreciate what Hagerstown's doing with them, and what, you know, everybody's working together, and hopefully it's a good day for both racetracks.
Well, that made me feel very good when I heard about that earlier this week. Nothing works better than tracks working together, because at this day and age, the way things are going, we all need to work together. And I appreciate that very much. Glad to see you guys heading up there. I know you've done well up there in the past as well.
Yes, and I want to thank all the fans for coming out and supporting Hagerstown. And if you guys can, later on, get up to Bedford and help them guys out, and they'll repay you. Thank you.
Okay, now we're told, Josh said, can't draw the pill no more. The fans have got to see that number. So, Kyle, you feel confident about that. You think number 1's in your future again today?
Well, I hope so, but I like the dice.
All right, go ahead. See what Kyle Lear does. Oh, my. I almost played interference on that one. Tumble, tumble, tumble. Oh, number 5. Kyle, best of luck. Good luck tonight at Bedford Speedway as well.
Thank you, sir.
And I'm sure we're going to see you down there next Friday for that Daniel Garrett Memorial as well.
Yeah, hopefully the weather plays nice.
All right, it's going to. Kyle Lear draws number 5, rolls number 5 today. We get ready for pure stock time trials here in just a moment.
Stock drivers, just a friendly reminder to pull in on the backstretch. Pull in on the backstretch, then go across the scales.
And our 11 pure stock drivers led out by the number 11, James Spielman out of Fayetteville, Pennsylvania, set for his 1-lap time trial. So again, drivers come out of the pits, come around, grab the green. As you saw when Spielman rolled by, the next car went out behind him, that being the 31 of Nathaniel Yonker out of Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. Spielman back to the line. 25.829 will be the time for Spielman as he sets things in motion. 31 of Yonker, a one-time winner a year ago, heads out onto the track, as does the 62 of Dylan Beavers out of Pittsville, West Virginia. Yonker looking to grab the number 1 spot. Oh, it is 25.264 for the 31 of Nathaniel Yonker. 62, Dylan Beavers, Hedgeville, West Virginia, off to a pretty good start so far this year. He's led some laps in his main events. And now he'll work it off at turn number 4, back to the stripe, our third of 11 drivers in pure stock action here this afternoon at the Hagerstown Speedway. He'll hit a 24.990 that time by. 24.940. I need an umbrella up there because the numbers are too small for me to read over here. That's all right. Got the AP Blake Reed out of Hagerstown. He is on track next, along with the 32 of Robert Wilson. Leaders coming back to the stripe. And for Reed in the 8, his lap's going to be a 25.295. And that will currently have him in the number 3 spot in qualifying. 32 of Wilson at Clearbrook, Virginia, next on the racetrack right now. And his fellow 32 driver, the 32F of Tyler Fisher out of Fairplay, Maryland, also getting up to the gearbox and getting set to do his 1-lap qualifying run as well. The 32, Robert Wilson, he'll be number 4 on the board right now at 25.815. On the moment, Dylan Beavers, 24.940. Holds at number 1 spot. Yonker, Reed, Wilson, and Spielman right now are at the top 5. '57 of Bill Ecton Jr. out of Mercersburg, PA, taken to the track. And Fisher, good lap, second fastest, 24.5 or 956. That will put him up in the 2nd spot. Now Yonker in 3rd, Reed in 4th, Robert Wilson the top 5, 57 to Bill Ecton Jr. Very good season last year here at the Hagerstown Speedway. Didn't score a victory in a very competitive class. He was one of the many that we were hoping could also notch a victory last year as well. But Ecton still came home in the number 4 spot in the series points. He comes back to the stripe in lap number 1, and his only lap will be 5th fastest, 25.669. And right behind him, the 67, William Ecton Sr. out of Greencastle, Pennsylvania. And following the Pure Stock time trials, we will have the roll of the dice for the Pure Stocks and also our Great Late Models trackside. Brief intermission while we get the Late Model Sportsmen lined up and go right into Green Flag feature event racing today. 25.898 the time for Bill Ecton Sr. in that 67 machine. As the 64, William Crook out of Myersville, Maryland makes his way out. Right now, Dylan Beaver is looking to take the top qualifying ever at 24.940 is his time as Crook works it off at turn number 4. And back to the stripe for the checkered, and for the 64, 28.382 for William Crook in that 64 machine. So again, Dylan Beavers out of Hedgeville, West Virginia, top qualifier this afternoon in Pure Stocks. He'll have a 15-lap main event coming up here in just a bit. All right, we get set for the roll of the dice, and finally good to talk to a young man by the name of Braden Anderson. Braden, that was very impressive. Glad to see that for you this afternoon, and well-deserved. You weren't going to let Andy take a page or take your glory away. He had a very impressive late model sportsman heat win. I know he's been fighting a lot of mechanical gremlins. Looks like everything's off everybody's back, and you can enjoy a good day today.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for weeks, coming on months now, he always reminds me that he wanted my car, so I have to give it everything I got and run it as hard as I can every race.
Well, things look very impressive out there. I know it always helps to start up front, but still, you got a lot of hungry people trying to come after you. You never know, cautions will come out. You got to win restarts. Much do you think will change at this point? The wind's kind of died down a little bit, but you think track conditions stay the same for you? I know the late model sportsmen will be number 1, but what are you thinking about as you guys get ready for your 20-lapper?
I'm thinking I want to start on the pole, and I don't want to come off the bottom.
Okay, well, you might be in control of that, so let's see what Braden can roll right now. And whoa, it was so close. Braden, it's number 5, but hey, great job this afternoon so far. Best of luck.
Thank you. I'm going to need it.
All right, Braden Anderson rolls at number 5. Well, he still has a smile on his face. The last time we saw him, he was doing good. Dylan, great qualifying run today, bud.
Thank you. It's crazy to be back again already.
Well, it's a couple days later than what it should have been, but what do you think about your track conditions for your car and how things are going for you so far? I know top qualifying helps, but anything you need to tweak on it to get ready for tonight's feature?
Honestly, everything feels great. I love the track conditions. I love when it's nice and slick, and I think we're having a good car tonight.
All right, go roll that dice, see what you can come up with. A lot of muscle going up there. Oh boy, the 5s and the 4s. Okay, Dylan, that's all right. Best of luck to you this afternoon, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, Dylan Beavers out of Hedgeville, West Virginia, as he hits the number 4. Late Model Sportsman, main event coming up. Gentlemen, you can start rolling them to the back straightaway to get set for your feature. Fans, we'll take a brief intermission while we let these guys get lined up. If you want to get a bite to eat or drink and grab some novelties, now is your time. All right, first 2 weeks of the season, getting the bugs ironed out, non-point races. Today, here's where we start playing for keeps, battling for the ultimate championship in late model sportsman action here at Hagerstown Speedway. Jeremy Pilkerdon, Andrew Yoder. We get set 20 laps, late model sportsmen. Green is out. Going to be Pilkerdon trying to hold that lead off turn number 2. He will. Yoder in his second, moves to third. Anderson in the number 4 spot. And it's going to be Zook and Lear side by side for fifth. The 151 of Lear. He has had the luxury of having some good runs early, getting some good draws and rolls of the dice. And now he's got to do a little bit of work a little bit further back. And four very tough cars, but one of those, the heat race winner, Andy Anderson. They are side by side off at turn number 2. Anderson with a good low side move as he'll hold on to that number 4 spot, but Lear charging hard on the outside. Top 3 are secure. The battle's for 4th as they come back to the stripe. Right now, Jeremy Pilkington in control, some 10 car lengths of an advantage over the 2Y of Andrew Yoder. Booz a car length back in 3rd. Lear and Anderson continue side by side. Pilkington brings them back for lap 3. 5.56 of Eric Cronies about to hit the back pits. He had some front end damage done early in his heat race. And now the Hagerstown or Boonesboro, Maryland driver heads it off into the pits. Moments ago, Lear got around Anderson. That will put him into 4th. Anderson 5th, Ryan Zook back in 6th, Cody Breeden in 7th, Walker Arthur 8th, Dan Zeckman 9th, and Chad Myers right now the top 10. Battle now for 2nd. Going to be Booz looking to the inside. A pair of 2s out there. Booz in the B2. The 2Y of Yoder. And Yoder holds a spot for the moment. And Spinner in turn number 2. The 49.
Stay high in 2. Stay high in 2.
Taylor nowhere to go. Makes contact. Very strong field of Late Model Sportsman drivers get set to go back to green. All right, field stacking up in 3 and 4. See if Pilkington can duplicate what he did on the opening laps. And look at Lear, 3 wide, right up the middle. He's the beat in a 2 sandwich. Booz to the bottom. It's Yoder up top, and Lear gets the number 2 spot off turn number 2. But here comes Booz back to the inside. He is not done, and caution back out. One of the top 5 drivers, Ryan Zook in the 28Z. Problems in turn 2, and that negates the restart. All right, field stacking up. What are we going to see here on the restart? Pilkington brings him off at turn number 4. And once again, it almost happened, but Andrew Yoder said, no, I got to get ahead of this guy, which means Kyle Lear. And he retains 2nd spot. Booz down to the bottom side. He'll draw alongside of Yoder in the battle for 2nd. 151 of Lear. He is liking that top side right now. Anderson in the 25. They're the top 5 as Pilkington works the low to middle line and back for lap number 5. As we are a 4th of the way through our Late Model Sportsman main event for the afternoon. Anderson, as we mentioned, in 5th position, a heat race winner with Lear. Those 2 are back in 4th and 5th. Breeden in 6th, going to be Arthur 7th. Bone break now up to 8th. Myers to the inside of Dan Zeckman for 9th, and the 36 of Sam Archer just outside the top 10 here at lap number 6. Pilkington's advantage once again opens up to about 5 car lengths. Yoder has been too busy playing defense, and now he begins to open up an advantage over Brian Booz of about 3 car lengths. The same back to Lear, a couple more to Anderson. Everybody single file, evenly spaced out, with Pilkington drawing him back for lap number 7. Further back in the top 10, going to be Chad Myers in the 21. He'll get around Zeckman. The 2 seems to be losing just a little bit through the turns. And that will drop Zeckman back into the number 10 spot as problems hit the 36 of Sam Archer over in turn number 4. Kind of keeping an eye on him to see if there's any movement. As we mentioned, normally a driver with a flat tire will get 2 laps to try and get it changed. And he is not making a whole lot of movement. Looks like the helmet's off, and it looks like we're about set to get back to green. Pilkington, Yoder, Booz, Lear, Anderson. They are your top 5. 87 to Walker Arthur, quietly working his way up into the top 6. Green flag is back out as we get set to work lap number 8. And Lear makes his move around Brian Booz. Anderson likewise, as Booz loses 2 spots, and Lear may get another one. He looked to the inside of Yoder, but Yoder able to slam the door shut as he worked back at 3 and 4. Here comes Lear again, right back down to the inside. Contact is made, and damage on that right rear quarter panel of the Kyle Lear machine. Pilkington leads him back for lap number 8. And now Lear, the two-time winner, begins to chew on that rear quarter panel. And trouble again over in turn number 1 and 2. Going to be Walker Arthur in the 87 spinning, with the 49 of Ray Ciccarelli also spinning to avoid contact. Well, he's had to make all sorts of restart moves to try and work his way to where he is now. Let's see what happens with Kyle Lear on the restart. Jeremy Pilkington, he's led from the outset. As we work it back in turn 3 and 4, green flag about to head back in the air. Pilkington up to the gearbox quickly. He had the lead in the stripe. Going to be Lear working to the outside. Pilkington keeps it right down low and holds that lead. Opens up about a 2-car length advantage. Yoder tucks in behind Lear into third. Going to be Anderson now fourth. Bone break. And also the B2 of Brian Booz there side by side for fifth as we get close in on the halfway point. Couple of car lengths advantage for Pilkington. Another 2 back to Andrew Yoder, then 3 back to Andy Anderson. Booz wins the battle with bone break as they go single file. Cross flags are in the air. We're halfway. 10 in the books, 10 to get home. And Pilkington, a very smooth competitor right now. Not flustered. He has won some titles in his career and done very well. Right now, he's got one of the best in the late model sportsman business, but right now, Pilkington working his way off at turn number 4. And apparently debris over in turn 1 and 2 has brought the caution out. All right, at the halfway point, Crate Late Model Drivers. Gentlemen, you can start making your way to the staging area for your feature event. Crate Late Model Drivers, you can start making your way to the staging area. 10 in the books, 10 to go. Pilkington, Lear, Yoder. They are the top 3 as we get set for another green flag restart. And Yoder trying to dig to the inside of Lear. Pilkington again with a good restart. Booz down to the bottom of Andy Anderson. Top 5 very tight, make it top 6. As Pilkington leads him off at turn number 2. Yoder with a good bite down bottom. He's to the inside of Lear down the back straightaway. Anderson up to 4th. Bone break wins the battle with Booz. He's up to 5th. And now it's going to be Lear wiggling a little bit in the middle of the high groove, and that gives Yoder the number 2 spot back. Lap 11 in the books, and Pilkington loving what he's seeing, trying to get away from these guys battling amongst themselves. Yoder, Lear, Anderson, Booz. They are chasing Pilkington in that top 5. Bone break back in the number 6 spot. As the leaders make their way off turn number 4, it's just outside or the back end of that top 10. D34 of Austin Berry and Cody Breeden. They're having a pretty good battle, and that is back for the number 7 spot. As they were side by side, Walker Arthur trying to dig himself out of a hole. Pilkington brings him back for lap number 13. 7 circuits left to go here in this afternoon's Late Model Sportsman main event. Yoder holding on to that lead. Lear now sees an opportunity as Yoder went high. Lear back down to the bottom side. And he will power move his car back into turn 3 and 4. He'll slide it up just a little bit, but have that edge over Yoder as he reclaims the number 2 spot. All the while, that battling back and forth has given Pilkington about a quarter of a straightaway lead. And now Yoder beginning to have some issues through the corners. Anderson gets around him and up into 3rd. Booz now closes as we've got 5 laps to go here in this afternoon's Late Model Sportsman main event. Top 3 comfortable in their positions. Pilkington, Lear, and Anderson. Yoder right now has been the driver in the top 5 that has lost a little bit through the corners, and now it's going to be Brian Booz putting the heat on him a little bit more as Booz holds on to 5th. Bone break still in the number 6 spot. Pilkington off at turn number 2, down the back straightaway. He'll be looking at lap 17 on the board when he comes back to the stripe. And trouble again.
Stay high.
It's going to be Chad Myers in turn 2, and that's not what Pilkington wanted to see. the outside, just making sure he can stand on that gas and hold off that high-powered 151. Kyle Lear right there shadowing Jeremy Pilkerdon, Andy Anderson. Great afternoon for the Bunker Hill, West Virginia driver up to third. Green is in the air, and here we go for the final 4 circuits. Pilkerdon takes him back into 1 and 2, hugging that bottom side off of that second turn. Opens up about a 2.5 car length advantage. Lear by 2 over Anderson, another 2 back to Yoder, and then Brian Booz. Field will come back, lap 17, recorded this time by Pilkerdon trying to hold on. Lear shadowing him just a couple of car lengths back in that number 2 position. And everybody kind of getting a little stretched out once again here in the final few laps. 2 to go here in today's Late Model Sportsman main event. Here we go. Pilkerdon was on the move in great late model action. Joe Warren had the field covered, but eventually Pilkerdon came to the stripe and lost by inches. Today he had the luxury after Lear rolled the number 5 on the dice and inverted some and gets to start up front. White flag for Jeremy Pilkerdon. Lear with Anderson on that rear bumper. Yoder and Booz, they begin a side-by-side battle again for the number 4 position as Pilkerdon takes a midpoint down the back straightaway. And off turn 3 and 4, Jeremy Pilkerdon scores the season point race number 1 here for Late Model Sportsmen. Kyle Lear coming up in second, Andy Anderson, Andrew Yoder, and Brian Booz, the top 5. All those cautions, he had to earn it. Folks, give it up for Jeremy Pilkerdon, your Late Model Sportsman winner. Great job in the number 8 as he picks up the first points race of the season here in Late Model Sportsman action at Hagerstown Speedway. Jeremy, I know you've had a lot of tests in your life and a lot of different races and won a lot of different championships, but boy, you had a lot of tests today on restarts.
Dude, that was, I've never been more nervous, I think, ever.
There you go.
But, I mean, that was the most fun I ever had. I know rubbered up, and I knew if I could just get out front, I got enough of experience just to kind of save the tires a little bit and hope that Kyle Lear doesn't get behind me. And then he did, and I was like, oh, I really got to put on it now. So,
well, earlier, you know, and it was well before he got to second spot. He was the meat in a 3-wide sandwich coming off of turn number 4 in between Yoder and Booz. I said, oh Lord, here we go. But eventually, he did get to that number 2 spot, and you had to prove yourself a couple of different times with one of the masters here at the Speedway.
Yeah, I got to thank Kyle for racing me clean. I've raced him a handful of times, and we made a little bit of contact on the first start when he was in second, but we were both fighting for the rubber lane, and we just touched a little bit, and I know he sent it into 1, and it takes a lot of poise just to not, put your foot in it because he's about to pass you. You got to just ease into it, trust the car's hooked up enough to beat him off the corner and into 3 and 4, and man, it's just our day. I love Sunday racing, so let's do it every week.
Well, you talked about being nervous, and I can understand that, but it never showed. Whenever you went through the corners, that car hugged down to the bottom of the racetrack. It seemed like you never had to get off your groove. The car would never act any weird to you. It was like very consistent for you every time going through those corners. It looked like you had a solid piece underneath of you.
Yeah, me and Kyle, we got this 525, and we've been toying on it. We've been kind of playing with it, trying to see what it likes best, and we did a little bit of changes there before the feature, and it just made it stick like glue. And I got to thank my dad too, because every time I'm out there, I know if I do something stupid, I might not have a car when I get back.
Well, I drove by the house on my way up here today. I said, I wonder if he is going anywhere today. And then I finally saw that 8 come out from the trailer. Glad to see it. I know you got a ton of people that have helped you get here today, including your mom and dad. Who else would you like to thank?
Oh, I got to thank a lot of people. But first, it's the middle of April, man. We haven't started this late in a long time. But I got to thank Maga Mechanical Contractors, Brady Mechanical Services, East Coast Construction, Nelson Seal Coating, D-Guy Masonry, Able Auto Glass, Loveville Lawn Care, Pilkerdon Service Center, Alexander Chiropractor Center, Hughesman Seafood, W.M. Davis Contracting. Let's go on the other side.
Page 2. Here we go.
Guy Enterprise, Alvey Brothers, S&J Heating and Air, Pilgrims Detailing, Riverside Heating and Air, Federated, S&J. Who else I got on here?
It used to have Can't Go Wrong with Long, but I know we had to change that, right?
Well, I tore it up too bad, buddy, that's all. But CNC Plumbing and Septic, everybody on this car, I mean, without them, I wouldn't be able to do it. We fought this motor for months, and we came out this year and said, we're not dealing with this anymore, we're coming for it.
Well, and that 525 motor is stout. A lot of them, Derek and I think Kenny, they had them, and when you said at the car show, that's what you were doing this year, watching it out here, that's a very impressive motor.
Yeah, I know it's a kind of, goes back and forth on if an aluminum motor should be allowed and stuff, but you know, that's just the way racing's going. Stuff's getting so expensive. If you blow one up, I ain't got 7 months to wait. I want to go racing next week. And luckily I can go down to GM Leonardtown and get one and come right back out.
Well, Jeremy, very good to see you here in Victory Lane. We hope it's the beginning of a few more times that we're going to see you up here. Not sure what your schedule is. I know we're going to see you at Potomac a little bit this year and hopefully back up here again, but great job today.
I appreciate it. You know, first points race, maybe got a lot to think about.
All right, Jeremy Pilkerdin, your late model sportsman winner here at Hagerstown on points race number 1. All right, field about set. 20 laps will be the distance here in our crate late models. And again, our best wishes to a lot of our late model sportsman drivers heading up tonight to Bedford Speedway. Hopefully we'll see through the race results, maybe one of our Hagerstown guys here that ran will have some great success up there. So again, our thanks out to the Badula family and the Hagerstown Speedway. Everybody working together as both had to reschedule to Sunday and wanted to work with each other. Again, if you show your admission ticket to Bedford tonight, you got $4 off on a Bedford ticket. So if you're thinking about it, if I could get away with it, I would. I live too far the other way.
All right, 11, you start the
All right,
race
here we go.
anytime
Info
after
for the
the
11P, the Hanover,
Like
Maryland
this
driver,
time,
looking to
this
see if he can
time.
secure his first. This is the Booze Brothers Performance Crate Late Models. Our thanks out to Booze Brothers, the official sponsor of our Crate Late Models, and so far this year in their 2 appearances, strong fields, and we look forward to another great 20-lap event. Pope and Witt lead us to the green. And going to be Jacob Witt from the outside of row number 1, grabbing that lead. Pope and Trevor Collins knotted up together as Pope tries to win the battle and cuts off Collins. He was looking for an outside move. Kaiser moves the 11K up into 4th as we get set for the completion of lap number 1. Spinner in turn number 4. One driver down bottom, and caution will be out. Trevor Collins was here on the opening day. David Kaiser, a win this weekend already. Mason Booz and that 2 machine on the inside of row number 3. Along with the 26 of Jack Brown. Restart of turn number 4, here we go. And going to be Witt grabbing that spot, and Pope trying to hold it down. That car just wouldn't turn left for him. Trevor Collins to the inside. Now Kaiser goes. So a pair of 11 side by side for the number 3 spot. Collins to the bottom, and Kaiser almost lost it. Had to get off of it. And that allows Pope to go back up and join Collins for the battle. Kaiser holding out Brown. And all the while, Jacob Witt holding the lead. Not by much. A lot of intense racing from second on back, and Witt's lead about 2 car lengths. Collins now in his second. Going to be Pope, Kaiser, and Brown. They'll be the top 5 as they get set to complete lap number 3. Braden Anderson troubles in the 25. He's high in the groove in turn number 4. And unfortunately, the Bunker Hill, West Virginia driver dips it down into the pit area. Tough break for the heat race winner in today's Crate Late Model action. Lap number 4 about to go on the board. Gonna be Witt bringing it back to the stripe. Collins in second. Gonna be Pope, Kaiser, and Brown. They're a very tight top 5. Mason Booz, Chuck Bowie. And then the 34 machine of Cody Williams. 6 of Christopher Hutton. And then the 27, Kyler Upperman. They're the drivers in the top 10 as we come back for lap number 5, a 4th of the way through our Crate Late Model main event. Single file for the most part for everybody throughout the field. Witt holding a 2-car length advantage over Collins. Great late model driver, also super late model driver as well. Out of Seaford, Delaware, looking to record his first victory of the season. Has a left front flat. And the tires are hurting Mason Booz in that 2 machine. He has got a left front flat tire. It happened midpoint down the back straightaway as he limps down the front stretch here at lap number 7. As the leaders head off into turn number 3 and 4, Booz still up in the high groove, up into turn number 1 and 2, and yellow is on the track for Mason Booz.
All right, drivers, let's go double up. 72 out, 11 of Pope out, 14C out, 27 out, 6 out, 19 out, 24 out, 28 out.
All right, field getting doubled up once again as Jacob Witt, the one-time winner from 1 season ago in the 33 machine, will be back at the point with Trevor Collins to his outside. Pair of 11s, David Kaiser and Ed Pope III. They'll be back in row number 2. And the tire repair work done on the B2 of Mason Booz. He'll be able to make his way back out. Looks like they might be getting ready to go under the hood on that machine. Field is at lap number 7, complete here our 20-lap main event this afternoon. Stack it up. Again, it's going to be Kaiser and Pope back in row number 2. Brown and Williams in row number 3. Green flag, back of the air, good restart for Witt. And now Collins trying to rebound down the front straightaway, draws even into turn number 1 and 2. Witt hugging the bottom. Going to be Collins trying to use that high side if he can. Here comes Kaiser down to the bottom side. 3 wide battle down the back straightaway. Kaiser, they get around Witt, and now he and Collins make contact. Collins holds the lead. Here comes the 33 of Witt back. He'll retake the lead by the stripe. Anybody's race when they came back to the line, and Jacob Witt survives. Goes from 3rd in turn 3 back to the lead, and still side by side, here comes the 14C of Chuck Bowie. He's to the inside, battling for the number 3 spot. Witt back to the stripe, lap number 9 on the board. Trevor Collins, Chuck Bowie, Kaiser, and now Jack Brown. They're the top 5. Kyle Lee, not very impressive in the heat race 1, that 2-team machine. He's up into 6th. Hutton now into 7th. Williams dropping back to 8th. Pope trying to rebound. He's 9th. And in the top 10, made up by the 3 of Branson Woodward, and we are halfway. 10 in the books, 10 to go. And trouble in turn 4. 2 drivers making contact. Looked like it was Dill and also the 19 machine of Alan Witt Jr., with Witt getting the guardrail off of turn 4.
I need you to drop back to the rear for being involved in that yellow. Drop back. You're going to drop back 2 spots.
Thanks to everybody for coming out. We hope it didn't mess up your weekend plans too much. Mother Nature had some other ideas on Friday and Saturday for racetracks, but fortunately everybody able to work together and still get out and see some good stock car racing action here on a Sunday afternoon. We are at lap 10, still 10 to go. Witt and Collins, here we go for the green flag. Field back into one, and again Collins is going to try it. Here goes Chuck Bowie to the bottom side. He tried to make it 3 wide down bottom, didn't work, and again Jacob Witt survives it. He has survived an onslaught of attacks high and low, and right now the 33 holding on to the lead. Bowie wiggled a little bit. That will almost cost him dearly. He holds on to second, and now Trevor Collins is going to backpedal through the field. 72 has lost several spots, as right now going to be David Kaiser up into third, Kyle Lee in fourth, and the 26 of Jack Brown. He's now the top 5. 12 laps will be complete this time by. Trevor Collins now settles himself up into the number 6 position, single file. And now keeping an eye on David Kaiser a little bit further up. He's got the inside move on Chuck Bowie, trying to chew on that rear quarter panel. Can't quite make it happen for the moment, as Witt holds about a car length and a half advantage back to lap 13. Bowie still in second, but this time it's going to be Kaiser with a good run off that bottom of turn number 2. He'll grab it and rub the 14C along the way, and pulls right up to the rear deck lid of Jacob Witt. Top 4 nose to tail as they come back to the stripe. And that is Witt, Kaiser, Bowie, and Kyle Lee. And Bowie trying to return the favor. He'll go down to the bottom side, and they'll be side by side for the number 2 spot. The edge to Kaiser by half a car length on the high groove. Bowie settles back into third, and now here comes Kyle Lee to the inside. And now Kaiser wants the lead. He'll grab it from Witt here at lap 15. Caution on the speedway.
Yellow. Stay low in 3 and 4. Stay low in 3 and 4.
Trouble for Ed Pope, and also the 3. Branson Woodward brings out a caution here at lap 15. On the outside, he started 14th. He's running 4th. Jack Brown up in there. Trevor Collins of the 72 now up into 6th. Mason Booz has rebounded to 7th. We've got 5 circuits to go. Leaders back to the stripe. And going to be Kaiser and Witt rubbing pretty good down into turn number 1 and 2. Give the edge to Kaiser. Witt to second. Bowie's going to get the run off at turn number 2. As he looks to the inside, going to be the 26 and Jack Brown now up into 4th, 72 of Collins in 5th as they come back for lap number 16. Three wide further back, Lee down to the bottom side, Booz in the middle, Collins up top. That's for the number 5 position. Give it to Lee. Collins goes to 6th, and now Upper Bend to the inside of Booz for the number 7 spot. Woodward trying to rebound up into 8th as well. Kaiser back to the stripe, lap 17 on the board this time by. 33 of Jacob Witt led from the outset. Still a very solid run. Great job for the 14C of Chuck Bowie. Jack Brown in the 26. Another call out to him to the outside of road number 4 is where he started. He's moved up halfway in his positions. Bowie, meanwhile, further up, goes for second and gets it here at lap 18. 2 laps to go. Kaiser looking for the double this weekend. Picked up the Saturday night great late model win at the Winchester Speedway. Looking to see if he can make it a perfect weekend here in Hagerstown. And he has opened up a good lead off turn number 4. White flag in the air this time by. Bowie a solid second, Jack Brown in third, Lee in fourth. Collins now will take the number 5 spot as the leaders head down the back straightaway for the final time. And 2 wins for the weekend. Winchester Saturday, Hagerstown Sunday for David Kaiser. Chuck Bowie, great run for second. Jack Brown, Kyle Lee, and Trevor Collins coming home in the top 5. Well, if you're talking about a good mix of states represented, obviously the David Kaiser machine coming from Winchester, Virginia. Chuck in the end, it's Winchester, Virginia That prevails. And the second win of the weekend, give it up for David Kaiser, your great late model winner today.
Give him the flag. Give him the flag.
David, number one, congratulations. Glad to have you here at Hagerstown, and great job. Kid Kaiser, 2 wins for the weekend. Pretty darn impressive.
Yeah, I mean, the first couple weeks we ain't been very good, but me and Jim been talking and we getting this thing dialed in, and then my dad helped me out, Brian, and everybody else. We've been getting her figured out. The old 2014 Blue Grays still got it, so I wouldn't be here without all my sponsors. I mean, you gotta thank Anne-Marie and Will. They gave me the opportunity. A1 Duck Cleaning, GT Archery, Walters Taxidermy, H&M Funkhauser, Farmlands Paint Company, Middle Valley LSC, Champions Auto Sales, Buell Electric, Quality Title, Cambridge Dentistry, my granddad and Mikey at the shop, ARC Racing, Phil's Auto Care, Dusted, they're the main part of us, and everybody else that supports me, my girlfriend Trista, my sister, family, everybody, thank you so much.
Well, that's a long list of sponsors, and even more impressive, you were right on the tip of your brain. You never even had to turn around. But I think the one thing you may not have known, who was going to win that race. That was some fierce battling with several different drivers up there this afternoon.
Yeah, Trevor got a good restart on Jacob there on the outside, and then Jacob split up a little bit, and I was under him, and Trevor was on the outside of him, and me and Trevor both drove her in there as deep as we could, and kind of met, and sorry to him, I didn't mean to hit him. We're just trying to battle for the same area on the track, but well, it still came out on top, and that's all that matters.
Now, I understand there's something very interesting in these numbers, and if you don't mind, I'd like for you to explain it. You might have to describe it. Some people with better eyes than me, where I stand and sit up there, might be able to see it, but kind of tell me a story about the quarter midget and what we have in those numbers.
That's Anne-Marie's son, Evan Sabin. He was a local quarter midget track driver here, and unfortunately passed away at a young age. And this car is for him. He was going to move up to this class, but unfortunately he wasn't able to, and I'm glad to be here in his honor.
You did it for him today. Great job. Great weekend, David, and best of luck the rest of the year. We hope we get to see more of you. I know you do a lot of Winchester racing, but I hope you can fit Hagerstown in here a little bit more.
Yeah, hopefully we can.
All right, David Kaiser, your winner in Crate Late Models this afternoon. Great win at Hagerstown. All right, field about set to take the green flag. 15 laps again the distance this afternoon. Blake Reed and Nathaniel Yonker averaging a victory a year, and looking to see if he can get his latest, and on a good day, the first points race of the 2025 season. 15 laps coming up for the Pure Stocks. Yonker way high. There goes Dylan Beavers. He splits the middle and gets to the inside of Yonker. 2x2x2 racing, almost in the front 8 spots as the leaders make their way back down into 3 and 4. Dylan Beavers in the 62. He's had some strong runs early, right now to the outside of Blake Reed, and he'll get lap number 1. Reed to second, Fisher, Yonker, and the 57 of William Ecton Jr. Top 5 still to be decided was the lead, as Reed was right up there, but now Beavers has got a full car length and a half advantage. Fisher in the 32F, he's right there as well. And Spinner in turn 3 and 4. Spielman in the 11 turns it. And caution will be out. All right. Tyler Fisher, Nathaniel Yonker back at row 2. William Ecton Jr., Robert Wilson making up that 3rd row. All right, green back out. Beavers grabs a lead at the stripe as they work into 1 and 2. Going to be Reed in second, but Fisher trying to get to the inside. Reed a little out of sorts off of that second turn. That'll give Fisher what he needs to get around him into second. Reed going to try to fight back on the outside in turn 3 and 4. Ecton's 57. He's now up into 4th. Yonker in the 31. For the moment, holding on to 5th with 3 laps complete. Single file top 3 spots, which will be Beavers, Fisher, and Reed. Now the 57 of Ecton breaks loose and moves up into 4th. Yonker now 5th. Wilson in the number 6 spot. Spielman rebounding to the inside of Carter Schenk, moving up 1 more spot as we come back for lap 4. Third of the way through this afternoon's Pure Stock main event. And going to be Beavers holding on to that lead. Fisher slowly has been trying to get a little bit closer to that rear bumper. The 8 of Reed, a distant 3rd. Ecton holding on to 4th as Yonker and Wilson go back and forth for the number 5 spot. Lap number 6 coming up. Blake Reed spins it off turn number 4 by his lonesome and caution out on the track here at lap number 7. Fisher had been reeling him in little by little, but it's taking a bit. Beavers has been running a good line. Ecton in the 57, Yonker in the 31. They're back at road number 2. No matter what, new winner coming up in Pure Stocks. Keith Reed, he's won the first 2 of the 2025 season. The first points race. Here we go off turn number 4. Restart here at lap number 8. And Fisher going to try to see if he can make the outside work. Quickly does and grabs that lead off turn 2. Another one of the many drivers that was in the hunt and very competitive all 2024. Couldn't quite find his way to victory lane. Beaver's not done. He's looking on the outside off turn number 4. Yonker, meanwhile, back up into 3rd. Going to be Ecton to the 57, holding on to 4th. Reed rebounding to the inside of Robert Wilson. That's the ongoing battle for the number 5 spot. Reed indeed will get it off turn number 2. Wilson back into the number 6 position. Spielman back in 7th. Ecton Sr. and Carter Schenk rounding out the order as we come back for lap number 9. Fisher in control right now by about 3 car lengths. Reed again still trying to make up for some of the spots he lost. He was 3rd when the spin occurred. And now to the inside of Ecton. Keeps digging. He's right alongside of Yonker. They come close to trading a little paint. And going to be the edge maybe to Reed as they come across the stripe. Still give it to Yonker. All right, field coming back, lap 11. Fisher and Beavers trying to make it a 2-car race. They've got a good half straightaway lead on the rest of the field. It'll be Reed coming back across the stripe, holding on to 3rd position. Yonker in 4th, Ecton Jr. in the 57, still chewing away and trying to hold on to a top 5 and advance a little bit better. It'll be 2 laps to go this time off turn 4. Fisher and Beavers. Top 2. Reed has rebounded back to the spot he was in before the spin. Ecton Jr. and Yonker. Right now they are in the top 5. And laps winding down for Dylan Beavers in an effort to catch. But again, another solid second. Didn't have the best draw that he wanted on the dice, so he's had to do some work. And right now holds on to the number 2 spot. White flag in the air this time by. Final time in turn 3 and 4. Tyler Fisher, top 5 in points a year ago, didn't score the win. He'll get the first points win of 2025. Dylan Beavers will come home second in this afternoon's Pure Stock main event. The 8, Blake Reed, 57 of William Beckton Jr., and the 31 of Nathaniel Younger. They will be your top 5. So again, he finished 5th a year ago in the Pure Stock points. And that's a way to end the day. Confetti parade, long overdue. Tyler Fisher coming away with that Pure Stock victory in the 32F15. Tyler, you had to wonder, is it ever gonna happen?
Yeah, I did. Long time.
Very consistent last year and a very strong group of Pure Stock drivers a season ago, but you were one of those many that we always said, he's close, he's close. He's another one of the many that is guaranteed a victory sooner or later, and today it finally happened for you.
Yep, it's been a couple years. Had a lot of guys helping me, and this year we had to thank Roy down at Anderson Racing and Mikey. They did some stuff for me this winter and found a couple things, and it's helped out a lot. Good buddy of mine, Nick, and my buddy Bobby do a lot of wrenching on the car. Thank them a lot. And pit crew, thank my dad, all my sponsors, Devil's Doom and Towing. But yeah, it's been a long time. I was right there a lot.
You were, because consistency was the name of the game for you last year in a very tough group. Finished 5th in the series points. That says a lot with that Pure Stock class. But what does it mean to start the season first points race to get that monkey off your back?
Oh, it means a lot. I knew I was good, after the last 2 weeks, and we did a little bit less, a little bit more tuning on the tires, and it put me up there, and I'm just happy to be here. I don't miss pieces, honestly.
Anybody tell you had to get a vacuum cleaner and clean all the confetti up this afternoon?
Nope.
All right, we're going to let that go. Tyler, great job, long overdue. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Tyler Fisher checks in. Pure Stock victory lane here at Hagerstown.